Well, that was a movie. First off, Jaden for Knight. Keep that actor's name in mind because this guy possibly has a good future ahead of him. Considering this is the first movie he's in and he's playing what could be basically the primary secondary character, the Nutcracker. Who is the best part of this movie besides Morgan Freeman, who... Okay, for all the people you see top billing in this movie, besides, I believe it's Keira Knightley who plays the girl, Clara, everyone else is in this movie for all of about maybe 5-7 minutes at most, except for a certain person. But everyone else, you think is going to be a big part of this movie, really isn't. And at the overall, I've been reading so many negative comments about this movie, so many bad reviews, and to say it's unwarranted would be a misnomer. This movie's biggest problem is that it came out way too early. This film should have been released around Christmas. It had the right atmosphere, it had the right setting, but of course Disney decided to push it forward so they can push back for Mary Poppins. Listen, I understand that you're trying to make a deadline and you needed more work on Mary Poppins sequel and you think that's going to do better than the Nutcracker. I understand that. However, when releasing a movie, timing is key. And when you're making a Christmas movie, one would assume to release it around Christmas. So whoever decided to make that great idea, congrats. You might be the sole reason why this movie doesn't do as great as it should. But even if it was around Christmas, that would only give one added bonus to this thing. So, first off, the good. As I mentioned, Jaden Foya Knight. I'm probably butchering that name because I had to look it up because he was only in Ready Player One as Boy playing something. I think it was like Boy playing Tetris or something. But in this role, he does an amazing job for what he is given to work with. Because the best parts about this movie, one, the soundtrack. Whenever it is using the actual music from the Nutcracker. It's an amazing stuff. You hear it, you can visualize it in your head, it's amazing. Continue on. Also, the set designs, when it's not CGI, when it's actually just set pieces, are amazing. It feels like it was literally made for this role, which, considering this feels like a very Alice in Wonderland feel, where I'm pretty sure that was another style over substance, you can say the same thing here. Besides Morgan Freeman, because Morgan Freeman is still amazing. Okay, listen. He's getting old. I know this is happening. And when he goes, I am going to be very, very sad. Because this guy gives the best performance every single time. He gives his A game. He doesn't care what he's in. He fulfills every role. You want him to be the president? He's the president. You want him to be the heartwarming uncle? He's the heartwarming uncle. You want him to be God? Show me someone else who could do as good a job as Morgan Freeman. Please, I implore you. We need to be prepared for when the inevitable happens. Hopefully not for another couple of decades. Please live on, Morgan Freeman. Somehow you must. But besides him and Jaden, everyone else just seems one note. And the plot in this is just... There's a statement that I heard from Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, which I truly believe is very potent in movies. Show, don't tell. And here's the problem. They have the capability to show it because they are, but somebody, in this case the Sugar Plum Fairy, is constantly talking over everything. They're constantly giving dialogue and narration. You don't need it. You can let a scene play out and it will work out. We can get the emotions. Kids can get the emotions. So if adults can do it, kids can do it. Who are you trying to explain to? We all understand it at this point in the game. And the reason is it ruins such wonderful ballet. And to the dancers and the actual people who did the choreography for this movie, congratulations. There was no applause in this movie, but I want to give every single one of you a round of applause for giving your A game. Congrats. And for everyone who put in the blood, sweat, and tears into making that look beautiful, you did an amazing job and are worth far more than this movie. Because the plot it's Alice in Wonderland again. It's Chosen One, to some regard, and then instead of just being straightforward, in Alice in Wonderland, you just get straightforward insanity. That's all you need. It's a road trip movie to see crazy stuff as you go along. The Nutcracker, very simple movie. Girl gets a nutcracker for Christmas. Very upset about it. Nutcracker comes to life once. Crazy stuff happens. Comes to life a third time. That's when we be introduced to the Mouse King and all the battle and stuff in there. Nutcracker fights the Mouse King, kills, the end. Then sometimes the Nutcracker might come back as a human or something like that. It's weird. But, simple premise. We do not need this to be a massive one. And even though this movie is only an hour and 40 minutes, which, thank you, they're trying to cram too much plot into this thing. Just have it be simplistic. And the idea of the Four Realms is not a bad idea. Based off of what Clara's mom, who's basically the guardian of this place, creates, everything seems natural to what you would have. Land of sweets, okay, makes sense. Not to put gender norms this, but girls love sweets. Flowers, once again, norm. Snowflakes, beautiful, once again, not to go with the norm, which apparently is bad this time of year, but still. And then fourth, which is her own world, the world of, or the realm of amusement, I think it was called. They kept saying it in hushed tones. Adventure, invention, something like that. But considering her mother is an inventor, by the times they talk about this, it would make sense for her to have it. Now, here's why I say only Jaden had the best character, besides Morgan Freeman being Morgan Freeman. Everyone else is not given time to develop, not given time to actually explore what their character is, or a one note for the sake of one note with no actual depth of character. The Mouse King has more character in this, kinda. But just, no one else has really fully developed plot. No one has any fully developed character. They're just there for their sake, and we don't get their full range. When the villain does their whole villainous thing, it's so one note that you don't really see the leaps in logic they got to this, and you don't really see how you got from A to Z. Even Clara, the lead, they bring up that she's an inventor, she has this inquisitive mind. Okay. And unlike Belle from freaking Beauty and the Beast, where it seems out of place for no reason, and it's never brought back, and Beauty and the Beast ran for another day. Clara, at least, seems very realistic in the way she's perceiving this. She's realistic in the way she's dealing with the world. But it's not fully flushed out. That's not her primary character, which is fine. That can be a secondary note. But they don't really do too much with it, except for the big hurrah. You think she would have a more inquisitive mind, seeing the ins and outs of how things work and the awe and wonder that it is. But we don't really get that. I mean, we kind of get into the flashback, but once again, the narration is ruining the moment. Also, it's disjointed. It's not needed. In, what was it, Oz? The one with Frank Oz, or whatever his name was. Where he's, it was the prequel to The Wizard of Oz. That made sense while we were traveling from world to world, because we were trying to get from point A to point B to fulfill a quest. This time, it's just there for set dressing and to make it look good. And the people in their outfits look amazing, but once again, style over substance. There's nothing there for us to sink our teeth into, which is why I say the Nutcracker is the best character in this, because he is given one simple role, a Nutcracker. And the one note he mentions that Nutcrackers are, they're loyal. And dang it, he plays that to a T. He's loyal almost to a fault, that some could say almost one note, which I have read in a couple of comments. And fine, fair enough. But the fact is, out of this realm of characters we are given, he is the only one who actually has a constant characterization, constant drive, and he never falters. He never questions anything. He is loyal to the end. When literally having a freaking Saito moment here from Familiar of Zero, faces an army of 1,000, he says, bring it on. And you know what? Does a good job until, numbers eventually win. And yeah, he does a good job. But it just seems like there was so much to be done and not much to be had. Honestly, if you would just simplify it down, take out the Four Realms, all the plot twists you see coming from a mile away, take out that, and just have a straightforward movie. This could have been so good with the set design. It could have been a remake that was desperately needed. Because to be honest, I've seen a lot of variations on the Nutcracker over the years. And honestly, the best one was an animated one I saw back in the 90s, in my honest opinion. Besides the Nutcracker on Ice, that was enjoyable too. But there hasn't been, in my opinion, a really good Nutcracker movie that could, take it to the next level. And with Disney doing it, and the set design, simplify the script, let the characters be themselves, and just do what Disney does best. Make it look pretty. Let it exist. Let the style speak for itself, but still have the substance within it. Give it some meat. But that's what we got here, guys. So, at the end of the day, it really comes down to this. Is this a movie really needed to be seen in theaters? No. The good news is, I will say this. By the time Christmas rolls around, and this movie will inevitably be on Netflix or HBO or On Demand or Showtime, because it will end up on one of those, I can almost guarantee it, around that time. Or even Netflix, in all honesty, given that Disney still has a deal with them, for the time being anyway. I would say watch it then, because this is a decent one of those just sit back and watch kind of style family Christmases. The kids can get something out of it, even though it's not that great. I mean, if you want to show them the Nutcracker, it's not a bad introduction to them. But as you need to see it right now, no, you really don't. Even the matinee, not really. I mean, if you want to take the kids to go see something, maybe, but you're kind of grasping at straws at that point. I would almost say A House with a Clock on the Wall is still better than this, but that's just me. So, take with it as you will. It's still... I'm not upset I saw the movie. There were some good parts, like the ballet, and I'm going to hang on to those pieces because those were really good. But I'm not going to remember this thing in about a month. It's not going to end up on a top 10 best or a top 10 worst. Mostly because even if I watch this thing again, I'm not even going to remember why it felt so blasé. Just cookie cutter Disney, trying to be cookie cutter Disney with some really good set design, really good style, even though you interrupt it constantly. And once again, I will say this again. Jaden Foyer Knight. This guy has potential. I want to see what he gets his hands on when he gets a good script. Because if he can turn what as a mediocre script into this, I want to see what he can do. But that's just me. Anyway, guys, be out of town, so hopefully when Thanksgiving rolls around, I can do a lot of these to supplement for you guys. But anyway, I'm going to keep trying rolling on, guys, and appreciate those of you who stuck around. As always, I'm Kevin Riley signing off, and I'll see you all next time. Later.